Good Wednesday morning. I'm NTV Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear. It's 8:06 now, and here's a look at your forecast for today. Satellite imagery showing that we do have plenty of cloud cover spilling its way toward Newfoundland right now as an area of low pressure is getting itself organized and is generally going to bring some pretty messy weather to Newfoundland today and some snow to Labrador. This is your RGEM forecast model, valid for 6:30 this morning. At that point, we've already seen some snow working its way into Labrador West, and perhaps a little bit of flurry activity earlier this morning onto western areas of Newfoundland. As we go into 8:30 in the morning, we are still seeing that snow in Labrador, but notice that mix line. This is ice pellet, this pink color is freezing rain, working its way through the Gulf and toward Newfoundland. This is going to bring the messy weather to Newfoundland today, while Labrador and the Northern Peninsula will stay predominantly snow. As we go into, this is roughly 11:30 in the morning now. By roughly lunchtime, we are seeing snow overspreading most of Newfoundland with that mix of ice pellet and freezing rain pushing onto the southwest coast, and the snow is generally winding down in Labrador West. Stepping ahead to 2:30 in the afternoon, by then most of the island is going to be seeing light to perhaps a moderate snowfall, but there's that ice pellet line pushing on to the southwestern part of the Avalon Peninsula, Burin Peninsula, southwest coast, and already through Corner Brook. Bay St. George area and Port aux Basques will have seen the snow go to ice pellet, freezing rain, and eventually rain by 2:30 this afternoon. Just flurries and light snow working its way into western Labrador by then as well. Stepping ahead now into this evening, this is valid at 7:30. At that point, we've seen the snow change over to ice pellet and freezing rain across the Avalon Peninsula and most of northeastern and central Newfoundland. Southern areas of the Avalon, Burin Peninsula, south coast, west coast look like they will be seeing rain at that point as temperatures come above freezing. We're going to go above freezing by 3 or 4 degrees for many areas south of the Northern Peninsula. By this evening, temperatures now are well below freezing for most. And as we step into the overnight, most areas will see a little bit of rain. We're talking about a few millimeters as the low pulls away before the cold air comes back in. But by tomorrow morning, the rain has moved offshore, and this is basically valid for 8:30 tomorrow morning now. Low is pulling away, and notice these blue lines coming back south. That's indicating the cold air pushing back down to the south behind the low. So we get that brief warm-up overnight, followed by the cool down as we go into tomorrow morning. And if I show you the actual air temperatures and the trend with that, you'll actually see that rather well. So there's temperatures this morning across the island, many areas close to -10, minus teens and 20s in Labrador. And as we get toward evening, this is now 8:30 in the evening, most of Newfoundland has gone above freezing with that mild push of air, cold air forced back up into Labrador. And then as the low begins to pull away, that cold air comes racing back across, and by tomorrow morning, 8:30 tomorrow morning, we're talking about temperatures back into central Newfoundland into the mid-teens below freezing, -20s to -30s in Labrador. On the Avalon, Burin Peninsula, Bonavista Peninsula, minus single numbers, but that cold air just presses back southward as we go throughout the day tomorrow. How much snowfall are we talking about today? That's the other thing people are certainly going to want to know. Well, we're not looking at an overly heavy amount. As we get into this evening, most of the snow is done. Now, it looks like we may see a pocket of heavier snow into the mountains of the west coast just north of Corner Brook, but I think a lot of that's going to fall once we get into the overnight hours tonight and not so much during the day today. But it looks like many areas from the northern half of the Avalon Peninsula back through central onto the west coast, 2 to 5 centimeters. The computer painting some higher totals across the northeast coast and the coast of central Newfoundland, probably to do with some of the terrain that's in the area, or perhaps it's just showing an increase in moisture before we get the change to rain, as this area will see the snow predominantly longest. So maybe 10, 12 centimeters there. Northern Peninsula, computer may be underdoing the snowfall for you a little bit because it's going to be pretty cold there. So the snowfall ratio is going to be higher, so we'll get more snow, basically get more snow per melted liquid equivalent than anywhere else. So I would suspect areas around St. Anthony, Canada Bay, probably 10, 15 centimeters of snow as we go throughout the day. Rainfall amounts, this is another map I can show you as to rainfall. And again, most areas we're talking about 0 to as much as 5 mils of rain, except on the west coast and southwest coast, where we may see up to 20 millimeters of rain from just south of Corner Brook through Bay St. George down around to the Port aux Basques area, and about as far east as almost Burgeo, a little farther east than Burgeo. We're talking about amounts probably around 5 to 10 millimeters of rain. So that's kind of how your forecast breaks down for today. I'll be back with a forecast update later on NTV starting at 5:30 on First Edition and the evening news hour between 6 and 7. Either way, I hope you kind of found this informative, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you this evening.